NBA Hall of Famer Allen Iverson was a basketball phenom in the 90s and the early 2000s. His signature speed, his athleticism on the court matched his fashion choices, which put him at odds with the league's commissioner and other players. That has changed. In his new memoir, Misunderstood, great title, Iverson sets the record straight on his memorable career and his real thoughts about practice. CBS Evening News co-anchor, that's Maurice Dubois, spoke to Iverson about his life, his legacy, and the game that made him the answer.
Here's what I'm asking. Can you show me a crossover?
I'm going to tell you why you need a phone opposed to watching this old-ass man get out there and embarrass himself. Okay, you take your phone, and then you go to Google, and then you put in Allen Iverson crossover.
Google Allen Iverson, and you'll see his crossover on Michael Jordan.
By Allen Iverson.
Stepping over players and gravity-defying dunks.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Allen Iverson.
An NBA Hall of Famer, most valuable player, 11-time All-Star, member of the league's 75th anniversary team. He is one of basketball's best ever players and a legend of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now 50 years old, Iverson is telling a story in his new memoir, Misunderstood.
Why'd you decide to, A, write the book, and then B, call it Misunderstood?
With this book, you hearing it from the horse's mouth. Misunderstood comes from you think you know, but you have no idea.
So why do you need to be understood?
There's a lot of things that people have said about me throughout my career. A lot of those things hurt.
Well, what things hurt the most?
Calling me a thug when I know I'm not. Judging me off of a look. I think that was one of the toughest things I really had to deal with.
In his book, Iverson details challenges throughout his life. Poverty, the pressure to provide for his family, and in 1993, a felony mob violence conviction at the height of his high school career. After spending 3 months in prison, the case was later dismissed, and Hall of Fame coach John Thompson threw him a lifeline to play at Georgetown University. Iverson says he loves that today's college players can earn 6 figures and more in name, image, and likeness deals.
You know what I mean? Because I was them. I was the guy that went to the refrigerator and it was baking soda and some water and roaches everywhere. And like, I've been that guy. When they say, don't you think they're getting paid too much? They're not getting paid enough.
Iverson was the first overall pick in the 1996 NBA draft. His impact on the league was both on and off the court, with a unique fashion style that led to criticism and a more strict NBA dress code in 2005.
It was something that the NBA had never seen. We never seen nobody come in here dressing like this with the diamond chains and the watches, and he got cornrows. Right now, all of these guys in the NBA, they have their own unique personalities, and dressing means a lot to them. Now I get the flowers for it from them.
Iverson begins his memoir with what many people remember him most for, a 2002 news conference that became an infamous rant.
We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? I never came out and said I didn't like practice. That's a perception that you got from that rant, from the legendary rant.
Can you see why people think it's funny?
I definitely see the humor in it. But if you're me, you knew what was going on at that time. It wasn't funny back then. But I was so upset about the practice thing, I could explain myself a little better.
Wow, what a fake on Daniels!
Keep Googling Iverson to watch his highlights, but he says his biggest accomplishment was not on the basketball court.
One of my best decisions that I ever made in my life was to stop drinking.
What was that?
6 months now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Better than I did when I was doing it. When you get drunk, you're not how you usually are. The more and more I see it on other people, the more and more it makes me happy about the decision. And the more and more I see how the people around me appreciate it, I love it.
Wow. And that includes his wife, Tawana. They've been together for 35 years, off and on, divorced back in 2013, still together. But she's happy he dropped the drinking because that was a big aspect of his life.
Yeah, divorce did not agree with him.
No.
With either of them. I think he's terrific.
Unbelievable.
And I love the title of his book because I think that really describes people's perception of him, they don't really know who he is. I love that he's telling his own story in his own way.
Yeah, and the great point is that he was the first one to wear cornrows, to have tattoos like that, to wear baggy clothes, to express himself as he wanted to. It wasn't like he was trying to be anybody who he wasn't. He was being himself.
And now that's commonplace in the NFL.
That's the
you know, I met Allen a couple of decades ago, and I must say, he is one of the most humble, and I'm pretty sure you can speak to this.
Yeah.
Even though he played like a giant on the basketball court, when you meet him, he has this humility about him that people, they fail to recognize.
He's from extremely humble beginnings, and he will never, ever forget that. At the same time, he's currently the vice president for basketball at Reebok. He and Shaquille O'Neal are out there trying to find the next AI or the next Shaq to wear the shoes, right? He's getting $32 million in
Good.
I'm going to take his
55.
I'm going to take his advice and Google Allen Iverson crossover as soon as we go to break.
Alan, you go.
He didn't want to
Thank you,
take
Maurice. Misunderstood is on
afraid.
sale now wherever you like to buy your books. We will see you tomorrow. Take it easy.
Misunderstood. I think that's a great title for his book. AI Allen Iverson was one of the first guy, probably the first guy to come in the league with cornrows. He had braids coming back. And also, the reason the NBA has the dress code was because of him. He had the cornrows, he had the baggy pants to go along with it, and then he had the platinum chain that was like around his neck. He had that hip hop look. Then it came to a point where the NBA, something happened in the NBA where it came to a point where a lot of the players were dressing like that, dressing like that hip hop look, baggy pants, baggy shirt with the chain, platinum chain around their neck. And then the NBA came with a rule where everybody had to meet a dress code. To this day, AI still has that hip hop look. I guess that's his signature. But you know, sometimes as you get older, you're 50 in your 50s. Sometimes, well, I know for me, as I get older, I used to have that hip hop look when I was younger, but as I gotten older, I've kind of changed my look. I don't wear the baggy pants. I look more professional. So, AI is AI, and that's why his book is called Misunderstood. But he set that trend. A lot of people liked him. It was liked by fans. He was one of those guys who was under 6 feet. They say he's 6 feet, but I doubt it. I think he's like 5'11", maybe 5'10". And he played the shooting guard position, and he was one of the top shooting guards in the league. Right now, he's considered one of the top 75 players in the league. I'm excited and interested to know what's in his book. For the most part, I watched him when he was at Georgetown, and then he went from Georgetown he left Georgetown in 1996 and entered the NBA draft as the first pick of the NBA draft. Had a great career with the Philadelphia 76ers. Then he went from the Sixers got traded to Denver. And then from Denver, he went to play for the Detroit Pistons. And then from the Pistons, he went back to Philadelphia. So, also, Allen was one of those guys that was raised in a single parent home. So he had challenges with that. He got into this huge fight in high school that could have ended his career because he had charges that he had to beat. Thank God for the governor of Virginia that gave him a pardon. If it wasn't for that governor, I don't know if Allen Iverson would be where he's at today. You know, actually, it was a black governor, the first black governor of Virginia that gave him a pardon, which in high school after that big brawl that they had at a bowling alley. So that, if it wasn't for that pardon, we probably wouldn't be talking about Allen Iverson. But he went from there, went to Georgetown University, and from Georgetown University to the NBA. I don't know where I would rank him as far as top 10, top 20. I think Allen Iverson's probably top 20, one of the top 20 players of all time. That's just my opinion. What else? Very good player. Early in his career, he was known as, he got a lot of rap, but they used to say that he was selfish. But as time went on, he led Philadelphia to a championship. They just lost to a better team, which was the Los Angeles Lakers. So the guy also talked about how humble he is. AI always never seen that arrogance with him. He was just AI, and he always. Whenever I seen him I never met him on TV. I mean, I've never met him in person, but whenever I see him, he give interviews, and he always come off as humble. You never see that arrogance or that cockiness whenever he's being interviewed. At least I haven't. So misunderstood. Good for AI. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Yay, yay.